Call the meeting to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for joining us again for our regularly scheduled Port Commission meeting. We have a very minimal agenda. We'll start with the consent agenda.
Madam President, I have reviewed the vouchers in the amount of $388,657.63 and find that the only voucher out of the ordinary is a check to Longman's Incorporated as part of the payment of the $4,052,000 contract. This payment and payment of contract services is $200,718. And with that, I'll move approval of the consent agenda.
Okay, we have, and I will second that. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And motion passes unanimously. Item number 4, early public comment session. Is there any public comment? Hearing none, we'll move on to planning. There are no items of planning, no items under property, no items under marinas, no items under airports. And our new business, item A, Olympic Peninsula Logging Conference, April 27th to 29th in Victoria, British Columbia.
Good, thank you. The 71st Annual Olympic Logging Conference is scheduled this year for April 27th through the 29th in Victoria, BC. As has past practice for many years, the organizers of the conference has requested the port to be a sponsor, and they've done so this year as well. And the conference is an annual event bringing together most of the logging, timber, sawmill interest on the Olympic Peninsula. The RCWs and the port policies related to this event, which occurs just every year. The port's been part of this program for well over maybe even close to 50 years or so. And internally, our Resolution 14-1087 on travel requires that travel outside the Washington State and British Columbia, Canada, must be approved in advance of the Commission, by the Commission for a Port Commissioner and an Executive Director for staff. Travel in excess of $5,000 per individual must be approved in advance by the Commission. Included in the program for the conference under analysis are speakers who will discuss timber supply markets, new equipment development. The theme for this year's program is Pride in What We Do. The involvement of the port is to mostly function within the meet and greet function of the event, which is usually on Thursday mornings. And there's a registration and a breakfast that the port sponsors, and our sign is there. In addition to the above sponsorship, the port has traditionally held a luncheon for its customers. That happens on Thursday between the hours of 12 and 1. And it's really well attended. The cost is usually about $1,000. The function has replaced other hosted events. We used to have a regular hosted event in the evenings, but we've taken this opportunity to do this lunch, and it's become very popular over the years. So. The sponsorship, the promotional hosting, and travel expenses are within the Executive Director's approval. Staff attendance this year so far is Karen Goshen, Mike Dillon, and Jennifer States who will be attending.
I think he is.
Physical impact, the cost of the sponsorship for the meet and greet and the luncheon event typically is $2,500, which includes the $1,500 for the sponsorship. The cost varies by the attendance at the luncheon event, and it's been about $1,000 every year on a consistent basis. The total expenses for travel, sponsorship, and promotional hosting were included in this year's budget for the log yard, and the promotional hosting expenses are within the approved budget line for log yard of $3,800 and the overall port budget line item of $14,300. So the recommended action today for the Commission is to review and discuss our participation in the Olympic Logging Conference. And we'd like to know which commissioners are attending and whether any commissioner is authorized to incur promotional hosting expenses.
Okay, thank you very much, Mike. Let me start with Connie? Do you want to discuss there?
Well, being a District 3 commissioner and involved in a lot of timber things, I would definitely like to attend this conference.
Great.
I don't know if you do one.
I absolutely do. I attended last year. I thought it was time really well spent.
Yes, it's a very important conference.
And I think there's a lot of value in it for the port to be there and to, one, understand kind of some of the industry drivers that aren't necessarily intuitive. And it's not, $1,500 for sponsorship isn't that much. And we certainly are in the right location to be able to attend easily, much more so than other folks that attend. So I think it'd be great, when we get a third commissioner, we should find out if they would like to attend as well. We'll have to keep that in mind.
I'm sorry, Commissioner. The speakers are on the back. I think you care to put that on there. I did not do that. But the speakers, there's more about the conference on the back page too, listing the speakers too as well. They're very informative.
Well, I know Goldmark spoke last year. Was he expected to speak again? Do you know?
I did not see Commissioner
Okay.
Goldmark on the agenda this year.
Okay. Thank you.
He will, however, be down in Skamania.
Okay. So I think you have interest from 2 commissioners here to attend, and the other is whether any commissioner is authorized to incur promotional hosting expenses. Employees automatically have that authority, and we, however, commissioners, we try to decide beforehand whether or not we are supportive of that. If staff is there, my thinking is just let them pick up the bill rather than the commissioners. But so for this instance, I don't see a reason for that. There might be some future conferences where staff's not attending that we might want that to occur, but we can deal with that on a case-by-case basis.
Or if there's any scheduled one-on-one meetings you wanted to have with someone that was attending, just didn't know.
Okay. I can't foresee anything for myself.
I don't either.
Okay. Okay, thank you then. So that would be a no for that piece of it. And so do we need, I know it's been in our budget, but do you need a motion to approve the $1,500 sponsorship? No. Okay. So that's all?
And I think, just knowing who's attending is all we need.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. All right, the next item is the WPPA Spring Conference from May 11th to the 13th at Skamania Lodge. And so again, I would like to attend that. That was something that I looked into, and I would like to attend the spring conference. Attended it last year at Skamania Lodge as well.
I would also, the amount of knowledge that I can pick up and help participate, show support in regards to legislation is invaluable.
And we'll provide the same opportunity for the commissioners there.
Okay. All right, and so moving on, item number 10, old business, there are no items. 11, public comment session. Do we have any public that would like to provide a comment at this time? Hearing none, I'll move on. Items not on the agenda? Nothing? Okay. Hopefully we won't have many items not on the agenda if we've had these work sessions and we're able to address those. So our next meetings, special meeting February 26th at 4 p.m. to evaluate the qualifications for the District 2 Commissioner candidates and make a decision on which candidates to interview. And then item B, special meeting March 4th, conduct interviews with District 2 Commissioner candidates during an open public meeting, and we're giving about 45 minutes per candidate, but we have 7 applicants, is that correct? applications that met the deadline?
Yes.
Okay, so, and we'll, Commissioner Boubet and I will spend time individually reviewing those, and then at the 26th decide which ones to interview, and then on the 4th, we will actually interview those candidates, and then our next regular meeting is March 7th at 1 p.m. But we also have a special meeting prior to that.
We do, I don't have a schedule.
Okay, that's all right.
No, the meetings were
Where's
the
special work
second and fourth. Second and fourth Monday. And
Yep,
the
you're right.
second Monday of March is March 14th.
Yeah, right, it's not the 7th. So our regular meeting is March 14th and then the 28th. So that needs a correction there. And we'll have a work session at 9 a.m. on the 14th. So we have no meeting scheduled for the 7th. Okay. But we do on the 4th, that Friday.
Yes.
And the 11th. We also expect we'll have one on the 11th, very likely. Okay. So, that was a quick meeting. So now we're going to adjourn into executive session. We have 5 items, 2 items of property, 2 items of litigation, and 1 of personnel. And I don't believe we anticipate any action to be taken at the end. Yep, no action. So go ahead and move the commission now into.
Well, let's
Yes.
estimate the amount of time that's going to be required for the executive
Thanks.
session.
I would say, I'd say an hour.
Okay, 1 hour, so we will be back out at 2:15. All right, thank you.
And justice for all.
Thank you for joining us again for our regularly scheduled Port Commission meeting. We have a very minimal agenda. We'll start with the consent agenda.
Madam President, I have reviewed the vouchers in the amount of $388,657.63 and find that the only...
And I will second that. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Aye. And motion passes unanimously. Item number 4, early public comment session. Is there any public comment? Hearing none, we'll move on to planning. There are no items of planning, no items under property, no items under marinas, no items under airports. And our new business, item A, Olympic Peninsula Logging Conference, April 27th to 29th in Victoria, British Columbia.
Good, thank you. The 71st Annual Olympic Logging Conference is scheduled this year for April 27th through the 29th in Victoria, BC. As has past practice for many years, the organizers of the conference is...
The only voucher out of the ordinary is a check to Longman's Incorporated and part of the payment of the $4,052,000 contract. This payment and payment of contract services is $200,718. And with that, I'll move approval of the consent agenda.
Okay, we have call the meeting to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty